Thank you, Jim. I'm so proud of Owen County. I love our county. I think we are just such a wonderful, wonderful county in this district. And so I'm so very proud to say that I'm from Owen County. Even when I get up and speak in other places and they say, now where are you from? I said, well, we're going to put it on the map and you'll know where we're from. Listen, it's the truth that every government degenerates when it's trusted to the rulers of the people alone. The people themselves, therefore, are its only safe depository. Do you understand what that means? We are the safe depository of our government. We are the ones that will keep our government limited, that will keep our government safe. When America became a nation, the great men who fought, sacrificed, and endured to give us a government system which would provide and could provide for our posterity, they did so with humility, with brokenness, and a general concern for protecting liberty for all of Americans. That's what was on the forefront of their mind, protecting liberty for our future. They sacrificed their lives, their fortunes, everything, so that we here in 2011 could enjoy the benefits of liberty. Now, when they did that, they left a great responsibility to us to make sure that we maintained it. That's why Thomas Jefferson said, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. We've not been very vigilant, folks, but by golly, we're waking up now and we're going to take it back. And we still have time that we can do that. The limited government, very limited government, unalienable individual rights were so important that they refused to ratify the Constitution without the guarantee of the Bill of Rights, because they understood exactly what Jim was talking about, those individual rights. Say it real slowly, or think it real slowly. Bill of Rights. Those are individual rights. They're not given it to us by government. They're given to us by God, and they are our rights. And this government has no right to take away our individual rights. And it's time that we keep them out of our individual rights. These were passed to ensure that citizens were protected. The rights cannot be infringed upon, they cannot be removed, and they cannot be deleted. Do you understand that what God gives, no man can take away? These are our securities. If we want a new program in the federal government, then what we need as a new program is that they keep their corrupted fingers off of our First through 10th Amendment rights. They need to back off now. America doesn't need more programs. Okay, we don't need more lip service from our elected officials. We don't need more regulation. We don't need more taxation. We don't need anything more right now than some integrity in our government. Our nation is bankrupt morally and financially. And we need to return that. And it's going to be up to the citizens, bottom up, to fix that. Because top down, they have no intention of providing any form of integrity in our government. In fact, they don't want to adhere to the Constitution because it limits them. That was the beauty of the Constitution, was to limit federal government. Because the founders understood that the strength of the nation was in the people, not in the government. So we have to stop it. We have to stop it now. It's our duty and it's our responsibility. There were those who were elected in 2010 all across the nation, not just in our district, but across this nation, who did not fit the mold of the Founding Fathers. It was a novel and desirous idea, and it's awesome, and we need to keep persevering towards the idea that we will have each person elected as a constitutional conservative, a person who will represent the Constitution and will hold to those. But you know what? That's tough. That's tough. Because when you do that, you're putting restrictions upon yourself, because you're not allowing yourself to be there to take from the lobbyists. You know what a constitutional conservative does? They say no. They say we won't vote for something that's outside the Constitution. So that restricts. And many of our representatives, senators, they don't want to do that. They don't want that restriction placed upon them. But there was a mandate issued in 2010 across this nation. And we warned Washington to get it right. Get your act together. Cut your spending. But you know what? They didn't listen. Do you realize that in this year alone, in the last 7 months of voting, they have voted for more spending than Clinton did his entire 8 years of presidency? Do you realize that the debt ceiling vote that just took place, which was divided in our own state, this is how serious what's going on. Our own representative, we have 6 representatives who are Republicans. It was divided there. 3 of them voted for it, 3 of them voted against it. What that debt ceiling did, amongst many, many things, but what it did in the numbers of our debt is it placed $13.5 trillion in debt upon our nation over the next 10 years. But it only promised to cut $1.2 trillion. Now, I'm not a math professor, but I'm not stupid either. I can add and subtract. Something didn't balance out there. And the whole thing was, we're not going to vote for it unless we have an equal amount of cutting in the spending as we do in the raising. That didn't happen. Not only that, but many of the things that they've been doing over the last 7 months have continued to increase spending. So we are actually going in debt further, and our deficit is growing. And this mandate for the next 10 years that was placed on the cutting, that implies that the next Congress and the next Congress and the next Congress will adhere to what this Congress did. That's not necessarily true. And they may increase spending in the next Congresses. So we may even grow outside of 13.5. 13.5, 14 trillion, 10 years, 27 trillion, take away 1.2, we're at 25, 26 trillion dollars. When I ran for office the first time, it was 12 trillion, and people were like, we can't survive at 12 trillion. I'm telling you what, we're going down and down and down, and the prices and inflation are going up and up and up, and all you have to do is go to the store and buy something and look at your grocery receipt from a month ago, and you'll see it's happening. I bought toilet paper, now it's been about 4 weeks ago. Last time I told the story, it was 2 weeks ago. Then about 4 weeks ago, I bought toilet paper. We went to Sam's, bought toilet paper the other day, and it had gone up $3. Anybody bought pecans lately? Butter? Prices are going up, and your dollar value is going down. People ask me all the time, they say, how do we get it right after it's been wrong for so long? How do we get it right after it's been wrong for so long? And this is how I respond to them. Anybody in here like chocolate? I love chocolate. How do you eat a chocolate bar? One bite at a time. One person at a time, letting your neighbor know, letting your family member know. One person at a time. Then we link arms and we make a multitude. And we blanket this nation, grassroots up, and we correct what's been wrong. That's how we can do it. We have to return to a constitutional framework. Listen, we can't just put people in there who say they're conservative. Their votes have to reflect a true constitutional conservative. And the reason is that the only thing, the founders did it. They were so wise. They did it. They wrote the Constitution in a way that it would limit government because they knew that on down through the line, the only thing that we would have to protect us would be the Constitution. That way it wasn't, that's why Jim was talking about the con-con. That way you didn't have people coming in and saying, well, I think we need to do this. And I think, no, we had a set of rules. We had a law. We're a republic. We operate by the rule of law. So we had that Constitution. That way, we always had the ability to limit government in our lives. So it's very important that we put constitutional people in there. This is the responsibility that our founders left to us. Now, it doesn't make any difference what the party is, okay? This is an American issue. This is an American issue. The parties are dividing this nation. They're dividing the communities, they're dividing the states, and they're dividing the nation. What happens then, this is the danger of this, okay? When you have Republican control, then you get your votes through on the Republican side. When you have Democrat control, we saw that a couple of years ago, then the Democrats get it. And so what you do, then what you have is you always have the parties, and you're always going back and forth like this. And so our nation is like on a teeter-totter, and there's no stability, and the businesses don't have any confidence, and that's why your market doesn't grow. And you have more regulation, and then you have decreased regulation, then you have regulation behind your back with one party, and there's no confidence in the American people. We have to have elected officials who run on their merit of understanding constitutional principles and conservative, God-fearing people in these offices. The only thing that's going to protect this nation is the Constitution, but it cannot work on its own. Now, I've had some people ask me, hey, Christy, hey, you're doing something a little out of the norm here. You're challenging an incumbent. Thank you, Jim, for talking about challenging an incumbent. Listen, this is not an entitlement to have a position, an elected position. You don't automatically get a renewal when it comes around in the next election. Our current representative voted for the continuing resolution. He voted for the debt ceiling. He voted for Pigford. Our own Department of Agriculture says that there's 18,000 black farmers, black farm families in the nation. They'd already settled with Pigford, but the amendment came through to give $1.25 billion more on top to that settlement, which increased, ironically, now we have 90,000 claims of black farmers. The USDA says there's only 18,000. That was riddled with fraud. Steve King he brought in every piece of evidence he could and showed the fraud in that. And our representatives supported it after they had hard evidence that said, this is wrong, it's fraudulent. $1.25 billion. There's so many other things. There was an opportunity for a cut of energy, water, and development. There was an opportunity introduced by Marsha Blackburn in Kentucky, I think it's Kentucky or Tennessee, to cut 1% across the board. Okay, nobody wants to pick winners and losers. Across the board cuts. We got to do it, people. It's hard, it's tough, nobody likes it, but we got to do these cuts. We've got to. 1%, 1 penny off of each dollar. Every representative in our state, every Republican representative voted for it except ours. He voted against it. 1%. $3 billion. There was an amendment to cut $3 billion. $3 billion to who? The EPA and the Department of Interior. Perfect opportunity to cut some of that money that's been regulating the heck out of our businesses, and he voted against it. We have got to have representation that understands the importance of representing the people and the businesses, and that is willing to make those tough calls that are constitutional. So when people ask me, I tell them, listen, I've got 4 children. I want a future America for those children. I want a better America than what I have right now. Because what we have right now is going down the drain real quick. So I'm running for this office because I understand the necessity of cutting. I understand what it is to have a household budget. The government's no different. That's not their money to spend. That is our money. And they are mishandling it. And so I am running for office here in the 8th District to represent my county to the best of my ability with integrity, with solid God-fearing principles, and to bring some common sense back to Washington, D.C. So I would really appreciate your support. We've been getting great support. I've been all over this district, and I've been very humbled and very, very, very impressed with the volunteers. We had just today we went through the apple butter parade, which was wonderful, and we had such a good response. And you're always a little nervous in your own backyard because you don't know how people are going to say, is she crazy? Or are they going to say, hey, yeah, go. And boy, we heard people saying, go, go, go. We're so proud of you. You're so excited. Do it for us. While I was here, we had people scattered all over the district, and I didn't even know it. They were in Pike County at festivals. They were in Davies County at festivals. They were in Gibson County at festivals. Constantly, I was getting texts from people saying, we're getting good response. People are excited. That's great, because you know what? The citizens want citizen representation. And that's all I can offer. All I can say to you is, I'm asking you for a chance, and I will represent you well, and I'll represent you with integrity. Thank you.